I think it might be good for you to give a brief description of each of the individual aspects of A.L.I.V.E.
We teach people to take a second, and we don't mean like take a 5-second. Hold on, guys. I know, people are shooting around you. Just hold on. But you take a deep breath, right? When you take that deep breath, it gives oxygen to your brain and other body parts to where you can make a better informed decision. So assess is really just assessing, hey, what's going on? Where is it going on at? And what is the next step? So you take that breath. Okay, well, it's coming from where my entrance is to my office. Okay, well, I know my exit's gone now. At that point, L, leave. Can I safely leave without putting myself in danger? Okay, well, now I hear something out the back window. I have 2 different sounds at the same time going on and screaming at both places. Well, now I can't know that I can leave there safely. And I know I can't go out the door that way. So what do? Well, you go to impede, right? So impede, we teach lock and block and a couple different things. So if you have doors, you have desks, you can start putting up stuff against and kind of barricade yourself wherever you are if you're safe. And you just want to create time and distance from the enemy. So if you make it look like nobody's home and they open the door and they can't open the door and they see that there's stuff barricaded, well, you're taking time out of their plan that they can be killing other people that aren't ready. So statistically, they're going to go to that next room that's not blocked and somebody is not taking action against them. So that's why I is really important for impede, create the time and distance. And then V is violence. A lot of people that's one of the biggest points of contention or questions people have about our course is, well, why do you need violence if you can just hide? Well, and it's actually good that we brought that up too, because one of the things that we have in class is I always have one, and I ask on purpose. I'm like, hey, does anyone in this room think that they can't be violent to make it out of that situation? And there's always one. It's usually an older lady, and they're like, oh yeah, me, I can't. Oh, I'm a sweetheart. I can't do that. And so what we do is we actually do kind of it's a exercise that we do with them. We'll bring them up to the front of the class and we'll say, okay, I want you to close your eyes and think about the person you love the most, whether it's your kids, your husband, your mom, your dad. I really want you to picture them in your mind. Picture the last time you were with them, right? So you really kind of get them in that situation where they're really thinking about their loved one. For me, it would be my kids, 100%. So, if they're sitting there, all of a sudden I say, okay, now I want you to keep your eyes closed and I want you to imagine that I'm standing in front of you now and I just pulled out a gun and put it to your son's head. And on the count of 3, I'm telling you, I'm going to shoot him in the head. Like, no questions asked. When I get to 3, I'm pulling the trigger and he's dead. Do whatever you think you would have to do once I start counting. And by the time I say 1, they've already attacked me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it shows, and we use that to show the entire room that we're animals at the end of the day, right? We have animal instincts at the end of the day. It's either fight or flight. And once you get past that flight part, everybody has it in them to go home at the end of the day. It's just a matter of finding it for them. So violence is, if it comes down to it, where you can't get away, you can't impede, and you're going to come face to face, it's how you do it. So we teach people, we show videos in the class about how to swarm. It takes two young ladies. In the video, we have 2 really, really small younger ladies that swarm a guy my size. And again, I'm not a small guy. When he comes through the door, somebody throws a couple water bottles at his head and they tackle him, and they're on the ground beating the crap out of him in their in his blue man suit, right? So we teach there's different ways to do things, and there's always power in numbers. So for violence, it's making that decision and doing whatever's necessary to go home at the end of the day if face to face with the person trying to take your life. And then finally, expose. I think expose is the biggest thing that we teach. Run, hide, fight. Did they tell you what to do afterwards?
Yeah, no.
Not at all, right? Yeah. So what we find, especially as somebody that's on the response side of it, right? So I'm one of the people trained to come in with weapons and only go after the threat, depending on what role I'm in. If somebody says, oh, the police are here, I'm safe, and they jump up and start running at me, I have a half a second or less to figure out if that person's a threat to me or not, right? And unfortunately, when it comes in the shape of like an active shooter like Uvalde, if given that half a second or less decision time and you don't have the threat neutralized yet, that person's the threat. So it's like, hey, what do I do afterwards? I think it's over, but I'm not sure. Well, we teach, if you're not sure, get your phone out, call 911. Hey, I'm in the school, I'm in the church, I'm in whatever it is. I do hear an officer at the door saying, "Hey, it's safe to come out. Can you confirm that that's who that is?" They had, I don't know if you guys saw that high school shooting a couple months back. They had a video that went viral where the teacher and all the students are kind of in the classroom still, and you hear, "Sheriff's office, come on, it's okay to come out." And they're like, "Hey, we're not going to take that chance yet," because it was still right after it happened. And you hear, "No, come on out. It's the sheriff's office. You're good." And the teacher's like, "Hey, we're not comfortable." And they say, "Bro, come on, you can come out, bro." And the students are like, "Hey, red flag. The police wouldn't talk like that."
Yeah.
And so they blocked the door, and they all started jumping out the window and stuff like that. And it's a good point. Like, obviously that kid and the teacher hopefully had some sort of active survival training for a threat, but just something that small is a red flag.